So, welcome to another edition of the Teflon Tales. Today, with me, I have Rana Pratap Bhattacharya. And early morning for all the viewers is some of the things we're going to be discussing is absolutely inspirational because this is, I mean, when I first met Rana about a year ago, it took me a while to kind of ingest his life and what he's going through. So I'm hoping this is inspiration for all. So welcome, Rana.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. How are you doing, sir?
Doing well. Yeah. Good evening for you. Good morning for you. I know we're talking about two different continents. So I'm going to start
Yes,
off
yes,
with how you and I first connected. Right. This was with
sure,
Milap,
sir.
and this was really I don't know what I was doing at that point, but I remember having chanced upon this website. So for the listeners, milap.org is the equivalent of GoFundMe in the US, and I saw that you'd started a campaign many months ago at that point for
Yes, sir.
raising money. I think it's over a lakh for an ambulance to help get stray dogs to the hospitals. And what
Yes,
struck me was you had raised at that point a very minuscule sum, right? And I'll tell you this,
yes,
Rana, right? It
absolutely.
still brings tears to my eyes because I went to that campaign again today in preparation for our LinkedIn Live. And I saw the first photo of the dog, and literally I froze. The sight of that dog, the starvation, the skin disease, the desperation in his or her eyes was astounding, and that was my first reach out to you. I still remember, and I asked
Absolutely,
you,
sir.
"Hey, Rana, what can I do to help?" And your response wanted me to continue to want to help you because I remember you telling me, Ashwin, I don't need anything right now. I've already taken a loan for that. The fact that you are reaching out to have, give me your support is all the support that I need. And at that point, I knew that you were not any ordinary human being, right? So talk a little bit about it. And I looked at, and I'm going to stop over there and give you a chance to talk because I just want to give the backdrop to the viewers and listeners because this is not something you see run upon every day, right? And you've taken a personal loan to feed this campaign of yours, and here I am offering my help, and you're saying no, I don't need any help right now. I'm okay. So give me a little bit, and again, I know your story obviously, but for the listeners, talk about what is it that you are doing right now, and I'm going to give you a time frame between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. every single day when most of us are asleep.
Thank you so much, first of all, sir, for inviting me on this wonderful, wonderful platform to help me, convey the message of what I'm doing and what many people like me across the world are doing. So I'm Rana Pratap Bhattacharya here. I live in a city in India called Pune, which is quite closer to Mumbai. Many of you might have heard the city Mumbai, but not Pune. So it's closer by to Mumbai. And I feed 500, close to 500 dogs every single day, whether it is summer, rains, winter. So I prepare around 300 to 350 kgs of food, of wet food, chicken, rice, and eggs daily. I go around and I feed all those dogs from uh, in an area of around 28 to 30 kilometers square square kilometer. This is the specific area where dogs don't get food to eat, because this is a stretch of a remote highway. So on highways, the thing is, when I first started this thing, the earlier I was not into feeding. Before, like, let's say by I started this in 2015 when I first came to Pune, and as I in our last meeting, in our last discussion, I told you how I started this. Like, there
So,
was
Rana,
this start of
I want to hit pause over there because I think for the listeners again, so 2015, you're still a tech person, but you were following the path that a typical engineer to a project manager, that path, and lots of people are faced with this, myself included, right? Early on, is you come to that juncture in life and you have a path that can add momentum, can add purpose beyond what you're doing. And you hit that point in 2015. What caused you to jump headlong into this?
yes, sir. So I was new in the city, and as I was living alone, so most of my time used to go in office. I used to work more. I used to work hard so that I can bring my parents here and we could lead a happy life. The place where I used to have my food, it was a small, very small roadside hotel. And just near that hotel, there was one female stray dog along with her three kids. And I used to every day sit at the hotel and have food. And she used to come, and she used to sit near the hotel with her kids. She used to look at the hotel so that people should give her food because she was hungry, she was starved. We could see her skeleton. But nobody used to feed her. Not even me, to be very honest, at that point of time, because it was, like I was new in the city. I was in my job, in my work. I had to get my parents here. One day I saw her that when her puppies were sucking the milk, so instead of milk, blood came out of her mammary glands, of her breast. And at that point of time, I realized that no, this something has to be done. Something has to be done because these people are coming near the hotel. These dogs were coming near the hotel and looking at the people. They don't know that they need money to buy food. They don't have that idea that we need to pay to get food.
Yeah.
They can smell food. They think the dogs think that these people will give us food, but no one does. We have our food. We go away. We don't even care to see that what actually is happening. In a course of 15 to 20 days, I saw all her kids dying. They died either due to starvation or by coming under a vehicle. And then I realized I have to do something. I have to do something. So I started with feeding one dog, that particular dog. Every day I have to feed her. Slowly it went to 26, then 50, then 100. And by my parents' blessings, by God's grace, today around 500 dogs are having their food daily. They are getting treated for various diseases. They are getting vaccinated. They are getting neutered. They are getting their food. And I can proudly say that all these dogs in this area of 28 to 30 kilometers, nobody will die of hunger. Nobody will die of a disease not getting treated. Because there are so many stories that goes unheard. Because they can't speak our language. They can't come and tell me that I am suffering, please do help me. These stories goes unheard when they die due to starvation or disease. But from the last 4 years, and specifically, like after this lockdown started, the pan-India lockdown started due to this COVID-19 from March of 2020. I can proudly say that, these 500 dogs, they will always have their stomach full. They will always have the best health and best medical facilities.
So, Rana, you've already impacted one person. Dilip is a good friend of mine. You can see his comment over here. So, I want to go back to something that I have always looked up to in people, and I go look at the LinkedIn profile. I see what they're about, right? And I look at your LinkedIn profile. It says project leader, TCS, dog rescuer, and feeder to 500 stray dogs. So, and this is part of the Teflon Tales, right? Which is to give people that permission to go and
Yes, sir.
experiment and go find some. So it's not like, okay, you have to do charity work all your life. Yeah, some people are like that, right? But you don't have to be a Buddhist monk. You don't have to be Mother Teresa to go and completely run. I mean, you still have a full-time job in a prestigious company and you're going up the corporate ladder, yet you're spending 5.5 hours of your night time every single day, weekday, weekend, lockdown, Diwali, does not matter. The dogs are still there on the street, and they, like you said, they don't have a mouth, they can't speak, so they still need to be fed and taken care of,
Absolutely,
right?
sir.
So there must be an ecosystem around you, right? And clearly your parents live with you right now, you're going to
Yes,
get
sir.
married soon, but there is a what sort of community has helped you, and how have you inspired others to take that first step to find out what it is beyond their traditional corporate life?
To be very frank and to be very honest on this answer, sir, I can proudly say that, like from the time earlier, I did not used to post this updates on social media, on Facebook or on my Instagram or on my LinkedIn. But later I realized that many of us actually wants to do this.
Yeah.
let's say not 7 days, not 365 days a year, but at least once a week. But they do not get that, that kind of a morale.
Yeah.
So from the time I started posting the updates, the daily feeding updates, the daily feeding videos on my social media networks, on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, I could actually see at least 50 to 60 of my friends. At least whenever they go outside, they carry some packets of biscuits in their car.
Yeah.
Whenever they go outside for an outing, they do feed the dogs wherever they are going. And they come and tell me that, okay, Rana, I was there and I saw a stray dog. It reminded me of you. And immediately I got him a packet of biscuit. So there is this famous biscuit called Parle G in India. It's
Yeah.
manufactured by a company called Parle. So all my friends, they have made stocks of Parle G biscuits in their car, in their bike, on their bikes, on the beneath the seat of their bikes. And whenever they are out near their office or even they are having tea, and so the IT culture in India is after every few hours you come out of the office to have a break, to relax your mind, to have tea, coffee, and you see a quite number of dogs there near the food stalls.
Yeah.
So nowadays, my friends have started offering them bread, biscuits. So it has actually helped a lot of people. And so the thing is, it's not about feeding 500 dogs. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm feeding 500. It's not a compulsion for you to feed 500, not 100, not 50. Even if you're feeding one dog, that one dog will not sleep hungry that day.
Yeah.
So these 50 of my friends who are feeding these dogs, at least 50 dogs are not sleeping hungry that day. So there is this, I read it somewhere, I can't remember where I read it, that the difference between a pet dog and a stray dog is when a pet dog turns from this side to that on a fine blanket or on your bed, you know, uh, due to sheer luxury, at the same time, somewhere down the road, a stray dog is turning down because of hunger.
Yeah.
So these people who see me or who are my friends who are seeing my work. So I'm really happy that even if one of my friends is feeding one dog every day, and it costs nothing, so it actually costs nothing. To be very
Yeah.
frank, to feed,
Yeah. No. So the
to be
one thing
very,
again. Yeah. Go ahead.
yes, but to be very frank, it costs nothing. To feed one dog per day. If I speak about about the US currency, it will not even cost 0.10
Yeah. I think we lost Rana. Hopefully, he comes back up. Hey, Rana, you back?
We are here back. We are
Yeah.
connected.
Yeah. So I had a
Yes, sir.
there was so we missed you for a bit, but there was a question, and this is something that I think a lot of viewers also struggle with, right? Um, how do you balance time constraints between your profession and your dog rescue work? You seem to have found a good balance, and this goes back to something that uh, is I'm already stretched both ends, right? And I'm just talking in
Yes, sir.
generalities, right? Which is I'm already stretched both ends. I have other things going on. So where do you get number one to Dilip's question? How do you find the time to do it? Where do you find the motivation to do it? And how do you take care of yourself? Because if Rana doesn't take care of Rana, then the 500 dogs don't get fed. So how do you balance that?
The first thing is, what I believe is if you have the passion to do it, then by hook or by crook, things actually get managed. Because when I started feeding dogs, I started with a very few number. Then I could see that the dog from some other area, they are looking at me that I'm feeding them, but I'm not feeding those dogs.
Yeah.
So I started adding them. And like this, the count of 500, I have reached the count of 500. So what happens is now this is a lockdown period going on. So we have work from home. So I can actually, cook and work. But when my office is there, when I actually go to office at that time, so I come back to my home at around 9 o'clock at night.
Mm.
So once I come, I immediately place, I immediately start cooking for the dogs. But this food is for the next day, not
Mm.
for today.
Mm.
So I immediately start cooking. I have got large vessels and large burners at home. So at one time, I can actually cook 100 kgs of food, 25
Wow.
kgs per vessel, four vessels at one time on four burners, 100 kgs of food. It gets cooked in hardly 1.5 hours. It takes 90 minutes to the chicken, egg, and rice to boil together.
Mm.
So I start doing it by. I'll give you my basic timetable. If I start by 9:30, by 11 o'clock, my 100 kgs of food are cooked. So once I take this food and go out to feed, before going that, I already place four more vessels on these burners.
Mm. Mm.
So once I return from a feeding slot, in the next 2 hours, this food is ready. I pour them into buckets, and before leaving, I again place four burners. So four vessels on four burners. So I cook almost 350 kgs of food every day. And between the time I go out to feed and I come, the next sort of food gets ready. So nowadays it's lockdown period, so I'm actually getting way lot of time to actually, uh, cook earlier and then serve. But when office starts, I have to do it simultaneously: cook, serve, cook, serve, cook, serve. Yes, but yes, cause the thing is, I know that if I do a bit late, the thing is, so when you feed a dog, the dog knows about your timing.
Yeah.
This is the most crucial thing. If I'm feeding a
Yeah.
dog in between 10 to 11 o'clock at night, the dog will be there at 10 to 11 o'clock. If I'm late by let's say 30 minutes, this group of dogs will disperse. They will go away. They will think today Rana won't come,
Yeah.
and they will sleep hungry. So whether like that, that's the reason I have to be very punctual on time. That okay, cook, serve, go and feed. Come back again, take it back, cook, serve, go and feed. So that not a single dog, they disperse and think that Rana won't come and we won't get food.
Yeah, another friend of mine. Again, you're inspiring a lot of people, Rana. I can tell you that, just like you inspired me a year ago. So one of the things, as you were talking, and this is something I want to kind of re-emphasize to the viewers and listeners, is like you initially were hesitant to post on Facebook and Insta and LinkedIn about what you were doing, but I think even for me, when I'm doing these things, it's always a question of, okay, if there is a higher cause, if you can impact one more person to get that multiplier effect. So instead of 500
Yes,
dogs, 501 dogs can be impacted. At that point, posting anything is okay, right? It's only
absolutely.
when you have a selfish motive. Okay, I want to promote my own image. That's when you kind of get into this self doubt, right? So I completely agree with you. I think the fact that you were able to get your colleagues to have those parleys in the car, to be able to be empathetic to the next dog that you see, and then your own like wake up moment in 2015. So 2015, Rana, when you started this, to 2020 right now, right? Talk about
Yes, sir.
some of the learnings along the way, and what surprised you positively in terms of, can I do this? Will I get enough support? How much impact am I going to have, to starting from Milap and you and I connecting? And so what has happened along these 5 years? And again, from a listener's perspective, viewer's perspective, taking the first step towards something new is always challenging. But then the self doubt along the journey: did I do the right thing? Should I go back? I mean, how did you kind of deal with that?
So the thing is, when I started my job, the amount of salary that I was getting, when my father retired from his job, he wasn't getting that much amount of salary. So in my childhood, I have seen the how things get, how things can go from good to bad due to lack of money, how education can get impacted, how many other things can get impacted. So let's say, when you are able to manage your home in 5,000, let's take an example. I'll start from the beginning. let's say if you are able to manage your house, everything in $500, and now you're getting $2,000. So, that I'm able to manage everything in 500.
Yeah.
And when you come from a background when everything will have to earn, like the first color TV that we have at our home was after I got my job.
Mm.
So everything we have to earn. So we know that, we don't have any other uh, uh, any other stuff where I will spend more.
Yeah.
Like all of my friends, they like, I'll tell you a basic thing. Like all of my friends, they go in car, they go to office in car.
Mm.
They tell me that, Rana, why don't you take a car? Why don't you take a car? But I know that my scooter is enough for me. Like I can even commute. The basic purpose of a vehicle is to save your time, to save your
Yeah.
energy. So I can actually go to my office in a scooter. The same scooter also serves my purpose of feeding the dogs.
Yeah.
Why should I invest around 10 lakhs of rupees on a car where in that money I can feed, I can treat a lot of dogs. So the first thing is for that money management. I will tell that I've been
Mm.
raised in a background where we did not have much money, but due to my parents' blessings, due to God's grace, I studied good, and I secured a good job in TCS. And like they paid me well. They paid me well. And so I know that, okay, I can manage my house in the rest, this amount of money. I need to save very little, and I can do the rest amount of thing for the dogs. So earlier it was a challenge, because when I first started feeding the dogs, from 26 it became 50, it became 70, it became 100.
Yeah.
So day by day the count was increasing. Every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, the count was increasing, and I was like, okay, my salary is this much amount. Like when in 2015 I was getting, I'll be very honest with you, uh, things should be very clear. In 2015 I was getting 40,000 Indian rupees in hand.
Mm. Mm.
And when the number of dogs increased, I was like, should I continue feeding the extra dogs?
Yeah.
Because from where will I get money?
Right.
Like, okay, I'm sending few amount at my home, I'm giving my rent, I'm paying for my food and expenses,
Yep.
I'm feeding the dogs. From where should I get the extra money to feed the extra dogs?
Yeah.
But I will, like what I have seen in my experience, sir, God has been very, very, very grateful. Very grateful. When I had the problem of feeding 100 dogs, like there is this small quote. There is this African quote that never feel like defeated. Miracles do happen.
Mm. Mm.
Never quit. Miracles do happen. Like,
Mm.
and at the same time I got promoted, and I was like, okay, wow. So probably I was doing something good, and that's the reason I got promoted. These numbers increased. I then my salary increased. Then once the salary increased, I was happy that, okay, now I have this much amount of money, more money, I can feed these dogs now. Then slowly in 2018, 19, like the number of dogs went much higher.
Yep.
By the end of 2019, I was feeding almost 300, 350 dogs. And I could see from a distance, from the last point where I feed, that around 100, 150 meters away, there are 3 to 4 more packs of dogs, and they are not getting their food. Now the question here is, if I try feeding them, I don't have that extra amount of money.
Correct.
I'm already feeding 350 dogs. Now, if I try to increase 50 dogs more, either these dogs will have less food, or I'll have to borrow money.
Yeah.
But again, like probably, and this is the reason why I always tell my friends that, okay, even if you try to feed one dog, please do.
Yeah.
Because I have seen good things happening to me. And when I was again in trouble in 2020, February, again I got promoted. So probably whenever I'm in trouble and I feel that, okay, something needs to be done, like, and more dogs need to be done. And this promotion came all of a sudden. I wasn't actually expecting it till 2023.
Wow.
And, like I got promoted 3 years earlier. And I thought that, okay, so probably I'm doing something good. That is the reason, now more dogs can eat.
Yeah.
And this is the way, so, and as I've told you that I've always keep telling my friends. Now, one of my colleagues, he recently moved to Bangalore.
Mm.
He recently moved to Bangalore. He switched his job from TCS to Accenture, and he moved to Bangalore. And one day at night, 12:30, he calls me. He says that, Rana sir, the place where I live, near HFR, there is a place called HFR Layout in
Mm.
Bangalore. So he tells me that, Rana, where the place where I live, there are many dogs here. And I know I cannot do like you,
Yeah.
but after I switched my job, I got more package. I'm ordering 50 kgs of dog food every month from Amazon, and I'm feeding these 15-20 dogs daily.
Wow.
No, so this is how the thing happens,
Yeah.
and that's what I tell my friends, that it's not compulsory to feed 5 dogs. It's not compulsory to feed 10 dogs. Feed only one dog.
One.
Feed only one dog. At least one dog will sleep with full stomach that night.
Yeah.
He will not shout, he will not cry. In India, if a dog howls, it is taken as a bad omen that a dog is howling. But people don't know why a dog is howling. He is howling or she is howling because she is hungry. They don't have food. They want to gain our attention by howling.
Yeah.
And that I am in problem, please help me. But we take it as a bad omen. A person will go and throw a stone and ask him to go away from there. So even if one dog is sleeping with food, so one less number of hungry dog. So and this keeps me going on. My 500 dogs, the dogs my colleagues are feeding by seeing me. So this actually feels very, very good.
Amazing. So I had one more. Advait had something to say. Uh, People often tend to quantify things, say, emphasizing what they do. Your satisfaction is simply in feeding hungry dogs and then aiming for numbers. So it's such a powerful thing that you said, right? Which is, and I'll be honest, right? So sometimes when I talk to you, and we've had podcasts before, I've reached out to you before, right? It's like
Yes, sir.
I can't do what you're doing, but then I think that's not the point. The point is, can you do more than what you are doing right now? Right, and I think that first step is enough to show the path to say, hey, what else can you do? And for some people it might be other things than, I mean, in your case, clearly I think the purpose is to help those stray dogs, but I think it could be needy children, it could be helping the
Absolutely.
homeless. Some There are lots. So again, I think the opportunity over here is to kind of, to your point, I think when everybody hits
Absolutely.
their Rana Pratap 2015, you're sitting there in this chai shop, you have this mother with her litter coming and looking at you, and being able to take that as a sign and being able to weave that into yourself, and then, like you said, magic just happens after that, right? So um, I know we're almost out of time. Just one last question, right? For somebody who's looking to that, what is that moment that is in front of me that I've ignored so far? In your case, I think that picture of sitting in a tea shop and having this stray dog come to you with her puppies is so stark. Any advice that you have for the viewers to what should they be watching for, that sign, that indication, saying, okay, I need to experiment with this, right? And I know it's different for different people, but are there things that you should be
Absolutely.
on the lookout for?
Sir, I remember, one of my teachers telling me when I was doing my master's in New Delhi. Uh, so I came from a very rural background and I wasn't able to speak English that fluently that time or that properly that time. And so I did not have many friends over there because all were
Hmm.
English speaking crowd. And
Yeah.
I was not able to speak English properly. So I wasn't able to mix up. So slowly, when I was learning and I was trying to mix up with my friends, one of my teacher told me that, Rana, we human beings are the only species in that world that have a superpower.
Hmm.
And I told you the same thing in our last podcast too, so that superpower is we can change someone's life. This is the superpower we have. It's not necessary that you work for dogs.
Yeah.
You can work for needy children. You can work for elderly couples, elderly people. You can work for what your heart wants you to do. But this one thing that that you know that you can change that world of a person. Now, in my example, these dogs, like the dogs I treat, the dogs I feed, the photo that you saw of the dog on Milab, that campaign ended almost 2 years ago, and by luck, you happened to see that campaign. So when I saw that dog, he was crushed by a car. His spine and hind legs were crushed, and he wasn't able to move. It was all blood, and he wasn't able to walk. Probably he might be thinking that why am I not able to walk? But he doesn't know that I am being crushed. He is just thinking that why I'm not able to stand and run again. Why is the pain? Why is so pain? And what will happen to me now? These are the things, so which actually, like these are the moments when you actually change.
Yeah.
I tried to raise a fundraising campaign. I was unable to. I did not have that much of savings at that time because I was already feeding 300, 350 dogs. For 2, 3 days, for 4 days, or like when I first picked him up and took him to the hospital, I thought that, okay, let's raise a fundraising campaign, let's treat him, but I will not let him die because the thing is, he can't speak.
Yeah.
He can't come and tell me that, like, please help me. Then I took a personal loan. Then I made sure that, like, no matter whatever the amount goes in treating him, he must be ready, he must be good, and he must live. He must not die. I promised him. I remember I was in an auto rickshaw and I told him that I will not let you die. I will not let you die. No matter whoever crushed you, I will not let you die. And I took him to the hospital. He was treated for almost 2 to 3 months. And we attached a two-wheel cart to his spine. Because we were able to, pull him out of death. But we were not able to save his leg and spine. So for walking, we had to place a two-wheel cart attached to his spine, the groin area, so that he could walk, and the wheel could pull his other two legs, the hind legs. And after, we got him adopted to a person's farmhouse nearby Pune. And after 6 to 7 months, I was just passing by from that area. I did not even have an idea that Bhura is here. And for once, I thought, let's check Bhura. And when I looked inside the gate, so Bhura is playing with the children of the person who is living in the farmhouse.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tearing up and you're tearing up.
So like a person who can't speak it's very difficult for animals.
Yeah.
For an animal, it's very difficult because they can't speak. They can't tell you that I am hungry, give me food. They don't know that we need money for food. They don't know that we need money for getting treatment. They don't know that we need money to get an ambulance. They just wait for our help. And we as human beings, God has given us that superpower to change someone's life, whether it is a dog, whether it is a needy children, whether it is a poor child who is very good in studies. All a person wants is a platform, sir. Whether it is an animal or a human being.
Yeah.
All a person wants is a platform. My father worked very hard and he gave me a platform to go and study in Delhi. Had I not got that platform, today I would have not here sitting and speaking with you, sir.
Rana,
Everyone needs the platform.
Yeah, no, so I just want to make sure that we are. So Dilip, to answer your question, and anybody else who's watching this, there's a GoFundMe campaign that we're kickstarting, and please reach out to Rana. Please reach out to me, and we can send you the details. As you can see, all of the
yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dilip. So I have read your comment, and me and Ashwin, so along with Ananya, Ashwin sir's daughter, we are planning a GoFundMe campaign to get an ambulance and an X-ray machine for these dogs. Because in the last lockdown from March till today, I have lost almost 28 dogs, and 28 is a huge number due to accidents, due to not being able to carry them to hospital on time. So we are planning a GoFundMe campaign, which we will start from 1st of January. And the purpose of that campaign is to get an ambulance and an X-ray machine to help not only these 500 dogs that I am taking off, but other dogs also who don't get treatment on time. Or the see, I have got many friends who take care of dog, but who don't have money for taking the dog to ambulance, to a hospital, because an ambulance charges around 2,000 Indian rupees, which is around like close to 25 US dollars, and 25 US dollars is a huge amount in India. It's not possible for every person to spend 25 US dollars for a stray dog just to carry him to hospital. The hospital charges are different.
Yeah.
So we are planning an GoFundMe campaign with Ashwin sir and Ananya for an ambulance and an X-ray machine, and we'll be starting it from January 1st. Ashwin sir will post it on his LinkedIn profile and also to his friends, and you can definitely help us through that GoFundMe campaigns.
Yeah, Rana, I know lots of people are going to be moved. We can already see Guna and Dilip and Advait and all expressing themselves. But like you and I talked about, I'm hoping this video reaches many, many more people, and they not only help you personally with the GoFundMe and get this ambulance and X-ray machine, but also I think the bigger impact is in their own lives. Figure out what's that one person, two people, one dog. I mean, one child that you can help, and therefore sleep better, right? So I think
absolutely, sir.
So thank you again, Rana, for your time. I know this was always going to be one of those highly emotional ones, and I'm glad we did it, and I hope it's had the impact that we.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. As always, I've told and once again before this this Teflon Tales live session ends, to all the viewers who are watching this, I would just like to tell you the way I told Ashwin, so that we are human beings and we have that superpower to change someone's world, whether it's a kitten, a dog, a puppy, a human, an older couple, a homeless person, a child who needs a platform. We have that superpower. We can change their world. So it's not important to do on mass quantity, on a huge amount. You can start from very basics, and you'll get blessings, sir. You'll sleep, you'll have a good sleep, and that when that you are doing something who can never repay you back.
Yeah.
Like helping a friend and he will help me back, these things won't really count. But helping someone who can never repay you back, no matter whatever he does, I would want all the viewers of today's episode that please, as I told, we have that superpower to change someone's life. Let's go ahead and help someone who can't repay us back, and let's feel that warmth, and we feel very good after that, sir. And thank you so much once again for this platform, sir. Really grateful to you, sir.
Thank you, Rana. Thank you that you and I intersected, and hopefully, like I said, hopefully we've touched more lives, especially with what you talked about today. So thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Have a great time, sir.
You too.